Thanks for joining us here on NewsNation Rush Hour. I'm Nichole Berlie. We're taking a live look now at the U.S. Capitol, where on Thursday night, the January 6th committee will hold its first hearing during primetime. Broadcast networks like ABC, NBC, and CBS will be airing the proceedings, along with most major cable networks. It will be the first in a series of televised hearings making their case to the American public about what happened on January 6th. Joining us now from our partners at The Hill, White House columnist Nichole Berlie. Nichole, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Nicole.
All right, so we're talking primetime here. Why this decision to hold these hearings in primetime, and is this possibly setting a new precedent for TV networks?
I don't know about a precedent, but I mean, it's clear why the committee wants this in prime time. It's the same reason that broadcasters put big shows in prime time. They want the biggest audience possible. The panel has been working for approximately a year. It's conducted more than 1,000 interviews. It's reviewed more than 125,000 records by its account. So it wants the most number of people to watch these hearings, which will be their presentation of the results of all that effort.
Well, you know, so you just outlined a lot of work that went into this, but what's the purpose really of the hearings? Are we expecting any real news, or is this more of maybe political theater?
Democrats certainly say that there will be real news. Now, of course, the proof of that will only be evident once the hearing happens. But Congressman Jamie Raskin, for example, who's on the committee, has promised that there will be information that he says will blow the roof off the House. He says that goes beyond incitement on the part of former President Trump. So there is the promise or the potential of new information. We'll just have to see what exactly that entails.
You know, so let's go back to the fact that, you know, this will be in prime time, Nichole. Does this maybe lock networks into carrying all hearings moving forward?
I'm not sure is the short answer. I mean, I think it is up to broadcast networks in particular to decide whether to do this or not. Obviously, if at some hypothetical future point there were a big Republican-led investigation into purported misdeeds by a Democratic president, then I suppose this instance would be cited. But I think, and I'm just going by memory here, I think there have been times when presidents of the United States have sought primetime coverage from the big broadcast networks, and the networks have declined. Obviously, the coverage of things like political conventions has ebbed quite a lot in primetime over the years.
You know, so assuming that millions of Americans potentially will be watching this, Nichole, could anyone face any real consequences because of these hearings?
So two ways of answering that. One, and I think this is a little bit misunderstood, the committee itself does not have the capacity to bring criminal charges. That would happen if they gave their evidence to the Department of Justice and the Department of Justice sought to prosecute. Having said all that, the committee has at least laid out a theory as to why people should be prosecuted or could be prosecuted. Those charges or potential charges centering on obstruction of an official proceeding, which is a crime, of course, and fraud against the American people, which is also a crime. Those are the two things that could have the potential to bring real consequences.
All right, so Nichole, explain to us what a smoking gun would look like in this situation.
That is a more difficult question, and I think when we talk about smoking guns, we're often talking about things that would make the American people, the watching public, universally or near universally conclude that, for example, a crime has been committed. That's just very unlikely right now, because I think opinions around January the 6th have calcified to a large degree. There's a large swathe of the public who thinks that former President Trump's culpability is absolutely clear-cut. There's a large swathe that thinks that this is politically motivated, and how you get a piece of evidence that fundamentally changes that landscape is not clear to me.
All right, Nichole Berlie, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.